All right. Hi, I'm Maggie. I am a 38-year-old mother of two, and this is my Transformation Starts Today introductory video. I actually started the challenge last January, but like so many other times before, I quit. I didn't follow through, and I had success the first few months and made a few submissions, but life got kind of tough, or I had obstacles, I had excuses, and I quit. But I'm back, and this time it's going to be a little bit different. So, first, let me start off by telling you about my background. I have always struggled with my weight. Growing up, I was always the fat kid. I was always larger than my peers, even though I wouldn't call myself, I don't think I was obese at that point. I was definitely bigger than most everyone else. But I think the fittest I've ever been was in high school. I was a year-round athlete, and by being so active, I was able to maintain, a slender physique. But gosh, it wasn't because I knew how to eat. I was not eating to reach my goals. I didn't know how to fuel my body. I just ate garbage, but because I was so active, I was able to stay relatively thin until I went to college. And I went to a fairly large university and stopped playing sports and really became very sedentary and inactive, and that's when the weight really started to pile on. I gained about 40 pounds just my freshman year. Yeah, it was pretty bad. But I was able to yo-yo diet throughout that time. You're young enough at that age to be able to kind of drop weight without too much effort. At least that's what I felt like. I could hit the gym a few times a week and starve myself basically for a few weeks at a time and drop some pounds. So I yo-yoed a lot, but at some point, I think it was around the time I got married, I just sort of accepted that weight as part of who I was. That extra 40, actually probably 50 pounds at that point, that was just me. That's who I became. And I just sort of was okay with it. I don't know why. I've never been happy with my body, but it was almost like I was fulfilling this prophecy, the self-fulfilling prophecy of being the fat kid. I took the role and I accepted it. I tried over the years, I would get a little motivation here or there to try to lose weight, and I would lose 20 pounds here, but it would always come back. And then I had kids, and oh my gosh, forget that. You know how having kids can definitely change your body, but again, that was just another excuse as to why I felt like I couldn't lose the weight. And now I'm approaching 40, and I keep hearing about how much my metabolism is just going to crash and burn and how difficult it's going to be to lose weight. And again, it's just another excuse as to why I'm just not doing it. But I'm pretty tired of those excuses, and I'm really not buying it anymore. And let me tell you why. Because I had a couple of pretty profound life changes happen last year that have really changed my perspective. It was about last February that I thought I had sustained a hip injury. I was lifting some pretty heavy weights at the time and thought that I hurt myself. So I ignored it for months and tried to push through it. I finally went to physical therapy, and when that didn't work, I finally saw an orthopedic doctor. That was last summer sometime. And I actually found out, after having several MRIs and CT scans and x-rays and whatnot, I actually found out that I have hip dysplasia, and I needed a total hip replacement, which was pretty shocking to me. At 38 years old, that was not what I was expecting to hear. But unfortunately, that wasn't the most shocking part. Through all those imaging, the MRIs and the CT scans, the doctors also diagnosed me with cancer. Yeah, that was pretty shocking too. In September of last year, 2017, I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's follicular lymphoma. I hadn't heard of it either until that point. But boy, it was pretty terrifying. I don't think I've ever been more scared in my life. And the weeks that followed that were probably the darkest that I've ever seen. I mean, I remember the day I was diagnosed, laying in bed with my little girl and watching her drift off to sleep, and in my mind just wondering, am I going to get to take her to get her ears pierced, or watch her graduate high school, or get married, or have her own kids? It was, your brain goes to some pretty crazy places in that scenario. So it was pretty tough, and it was definitely the hardest thing I've ever been through. But at this point, I'm able to look back at that and see it as really a true blessing, because sometimes the most beautiful things come from the darkest places. And I know it sounds really corny and cliche, but in my case, it's true. I have a fire inside my soul that I never even knew was there. I just have a totally new appreciation for life and in general. And fortunately, after lots of testing, we found out that my cancer is really slow growing. So while I will need chemo treatment at some point, I don't need it now. In fact, my treatment plan at this point is technically called Watch and Wait. But I'm not calling it that. I've decided I'm going to call it Watch and Live, because I'm ready to live my life to the fullest. And part of that is taking care of myself. I know myself well enough to know that I am such a better person. I'm such a better mom. I'm a better wife. I'm a better sister, a better friend, just a better person when I'm taking care of myself. And part of taking care of myself is living up to my potential, and not being so tired and negative all the time. And I don't know, there's a switch that goes off in my mind when I'm exercising regularly, when I'm fueling my body to meet my goals. I feel good. I know that has a lot to do with my hormone balance and just the way that my body's responding, but it does so much for me psychologically as well. And I'm ready to be that person. I'm ready to reach my goals, and I'm ready to reach my potential, really. This past year, even though I wasn't really actively taking part in the challenge, I was watching on Facebook and through the website. I was watching, and the community you've created there at Phorm is just amazing. And I want to be a part of that. It's so positive and supportive. And it just feels right. It feels good. And I want to be a part of it. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to finally commit to this process. I'm ready to transform my life. I'm ready to start living the life that I know I deserve and I'm completely capable of achieving. So that's my introduction video, and I look forward to keeping you posted as the year progresses, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon. Bye.